Multiple smear pieces against Pierre that aren't working. A Liberal candidate retweets a parody post. The PPC have come out of nowhere, okay? And a former leader of the NDP tells people to not vote NDP. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. Let's get right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be here every single day covering the election from different angles that the media is not covering. So if that interests you, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. What seems particularly heinous about these smear campaigns against Pierre Poilievre, it seems that it is a mainstream effort, and not only a mainstream effort, but a PPC effort. And I'm sorry, but if you're PPC and you don't think that we have more in common than not, and you think that conservatives are stupid for voting conservative, I'm sorry, you're part of a cult. The PPC doesn't even have a constitution, and if you, which everybody here has probably subscribed to Frank Vaughan before they were ever subscribed to me, so I would go over and watch Frank Vaughan's posts about the PPC, okay? I could make a whole video of why I'm not voting the PPC, and I probably will, okay? But for the Globe and Mail to randomly leak, or someone from CSIS to randomly leak to the Globe and Mail, sure, Jan, that Pierre Poilievre's campaign for leadership was, infiltrated, why wouldn't you tell him before those? The whole talk of security clearance didn't come up until I think it was late last year. So why wouldn't they have been able to tell him? Security clearance, by the way, if you're not aware, is, first of all, Pierre Poilievre has been in the House of Commons he was a leader of something. So that means that he has had all of the necessary background checks, and I'm talking vulnerable sectors check. Keep in mind, they are not using real words. When they say security clearance, that's what I picture. Oh, Pierre Poilievre doesn't have security clearance. That's not a real word. That's not a real thing. That has never been a thing, okay? Security clearance, how about we get into that? What is it? Is it a vulnerable sectors check? What exactly entails in this security clearance? Because we all know that Pierre Poilievre would have had to get one to be where he is. And I don't think the Conservatives are truly a group of individuals who would let a criminal run the party, especially with needing to win an election so bad. But that brings me to my next point. Some journalist on X, I guess, interviewed someone who was bullied by Pierre Poilievre when he was a kid. And I guess this is... Here, let's listen. Hold on.
A man describes growing up under the shadow of Pierre Poilievre, not as a peer, but as an alleged victim of bullying and physical assault by the now conservative leader.
Punches, kicks, he picked me up on my face and lifted me up, which was, not very good for the neck and the back.
Okay, I'm going to show you this.
If you have followed Media Bizargan for a while, you already...
That person says they're not partisan, but I'm sorry. If you're going to run... I'm going to say this right now. I was my husband's bully. I don't know what that says about me and my husband, but I was my husband's bully, okay? In middle school, I called him Tubby Taboli. I used to make fun of him all the time, okay? That, if you're a liberal especially, you should know that the things that when you do when you're a kid don't equal what you are as an adult. We can all overcome stuff, and that's exactly why you can quite literally murder your parents in Canada before 18 and get away with it and have a clean slate when you're done. I mean, hell, even there is a hair on my chin and it keeps happening like that, like not growing, but oh my goodness. You can ask the people in Quebec too, because Carla Homolka was for some reason allowed to volunteer at a school. So don't tell me. They're like, oh, this is possibly why he can't get his security clearance. There is not going to be anything on there that restricts Pierre Poilievre from having his security clearance. Be so for real right now. Like, at least know the laws in Canada before you spread misinformation, Mr. Mocha? Mr. Mocha. Not only that, this big gotcha moment was followed up with he still plans to vote for Pierre. I can't. guys, what are we doing here? Pierre Poilievre is drawing 4,000 people to Hamilton. I honestly, this is the thing, is that I've said this right from the beginning. I've never been the person to panic during the polls because I pay attention to things so unbelievably carefully that I noticed that this is the exact same thing that happened with Kamala Harris. So let's move into the PPC and their collective meltdown, okay? I truly think that us and PPC have more in common than not. I would like to say that most of my TikTok followers are PPC. I think there's two types of people in the PPC. People who are PPC who just want to be left alone. They're rational thinking people. And then there's people in there who think that race mixing shouldn't be a thing. So, and I would say that, you know how the liberals are always like, oh, the conservatives are extremist, far right. I would say that there are more far right people in the PPC than the conservatives, okay? And I want to give you guys a hint, okay? If you didn't have Maxime Bernier as your leader, more people would vote for you. If you guys didn't come out, Pierre Poilievre has been rallying for 3 years straight. I'm talking actual campaign rallies for 3 years. The man has aged because he's put in so much work. And you guys just come out of nowhere right before an election's called and expect everybody to vote PPC. It's embarrassing. Maxime Bernier doesn't even have a seat in the House of Commons. And I would like to say this because I haven't seen anybody say this before, but Maxime Bernier should be running in Elmer, Ontario. You guys, if you know the freedom movement, you know that was born in Elmer, Ontario, which I lived right down the road from and saw be born, okay? That's where he should run because there was so many PPC and conservative votes that my NDP vote at the time didn't count for anything. So if Maxime Bernier was smart, he would be running in Elmer, Ontario, but he's not, and he basically lives in Florida. So there's lots that I have to say about the PPC. I will say, I just noticed over the last day, there seems to be some sort of psyop. And it just makes me question things because why are they so focused on Pierre Poilievre rather than the Liberals and the NDP who have actually destroyed our country? I don't know, but let's move along to Mark Carney. Mark Carney just seems to be doing L's over and over again. He is rerunning Sean Fraser in Nova Scotia, which is so wild because Sean Fraser quit when he thought the going was tough. And now that he sees the polls going up, Mark Carney actually called him when there was someone else as a Liberal candidate in that riding. They booted him out, said Sean Fraser should be in because they know probably that Sean Fraser's like one of the more popular Liberals and that he might get votes. So I truly do feel bad for the person who was the Liberal candidate. I mean, not too much because it's a Liberal candidate and that's you should know better than to work with people who are going to screw you over entirely. And I know that hasn't not happened in conservative ridings, but to see it happen just so bluntly and after L after L after L for Mark Carney, I just consider this another L. So let's move into Jagmeet Singh and what he's been up to. Because not even Tom O'Clair says that you should be voting for Jagmeet Singh. The former leader of the NDP says you should not be voting for the NDP. That says a lot, Jagmeet, and I guess he is so broke that that's why he has to use a bus, okay? Good news in Northern Ontario is that we finally have a conservative candidate. I still wish I was voting for Cassidy because she is a Northern Ontarian. I can't really find any information about this guy, but I do believe his name is Gary. And I'm just happy that we have a conservative to vote for because Charlie Angus seems to be absolutely losing his mind. Like, does he not know that the most change that he could do would be to be in government and not stand at protests and harass and assault people? I'm just confused. I can't wait to know more about how much China is involved with Mark Carney's campaign. Now, I'll be here all month covering the election. I'll actually be in Ottawa on the night of the election doing live coverage. And I will be doing election updates every single day for you guys to make sure that we get everything and anything covered, okay? Especially because of how much the mainstream media loves to lie. Especially about foreign interference. What a serious thing to accuse someone of. And say that Pierre Poilievre isn't getting it because of his security clearance. Okay, so the Globe and Mail had security clearance to report about it. This is how we see things, okay? And I'm so happy to see more and more Canadians waking up. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me anything that I missed. And you guys have a great day. Bye!